James now sat inside a police car, separated from everything that had just happened. On the other side of the crime scene, an officer approached one more witness, hoping this final conversation might shed light on the truth and reveal whether anyone else was connected to the violence.
Go to the bank and separate the money.
Yeah, so Jim came, they're going through divorce. Jim came here to get Sherry to go to the bank to split up their assets. Okay. And everything's fine. You didn't hear any arguing here?
Okay, so she came out, he honks, she comes out.
No, she's on the back deck.
Ooh, we got that reggaeton. Today, we're gonna be making beats you guys send me.
I seen you in a video, on surveillance video. I got you on video. We really need to know what happened, dude. We need to stop the BS, man. I know you.
This is the most important time in your entire life, to be honest.
This man found guilty of a triple murder has been sentenced to 999 years in prison.
At the end of the day, 3 people are dead, right?
This is Jadarius Jones, an 18-year-old currently realizing that he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. And as he comes to terms with the fact that his life is over, there is still an entire story that detectives need to unravel. A story that will help you understand how exactly this teenager landed himself a millennium behind bars.
I don't need to be giving you these answers, Jay. A lot of these questions I'm asking you, I already know the answer to.
Something that big you can't hold inside. It hurts.
Around 12:30 p.m., a quiet neighborhood in northwest Jacksonville would erupt into panic when a series of gunshots went off on Bridges Road near Dunn Avenue. Immediately, residents nearby began calling 911, and by the time first responders arrived, they would realize they had a tragedy on their hands. In the front yard of one of the homes lay 44-year-old Luther Williams, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Inside the house, officers discovered 2 more victims, 63-year-old Gregory Merritt and 58-year-old Unita Hardy, both found dead in a bedroom. Before investigators could even begin processing the scene, relatives of the victims were already naming one person, 18-year-old Jadarius J. Jones, Gregory and Unita's grandson. Almost simultaneously, cops began receiving multiple tips describing a bloodied teenager running through the neighborhood. Following those reports, officers spotted Jadarius on foot, and after a brief chase, he was taken into custody. Now, after bringing him to an interrogation room, detectives needed one thing from him, an explanation as to why he, at 18 years old, just committed a triple homicide.
What kind of shoes were you wearing?
I don't have no shoes on.
Today?
Mm-mm.
You've been barefoot all day?
Yeah, I got slides and baby matches and air matches.
You wear socks with slides?
Yeah.
I've never seen that in my life. Have you?
Sometimes.
It's like wearing socks with sandals.
And I got some all-white Air Force Ones. That's just about it.
Okay. I was just asking. I saw you come in here with just your socks on. That's why I was wondering, like, why does this guy not have shoes? So what shoes were you wearing today?
The shoes I want, Air Force Ones. All-white.
All-white Air Force Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you ran out of them when you ran away?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Just said.
Are they back in the house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So they're back in the house. I got you.
You can't run the Air Force One.
That likely explains why he stole Luther's bloodied shoes along with his fanny pack before fleeing the scene.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys,
Nina just built an app.
When he was later arrested, he was still wearing those same shoes, directly tying him back to the shooting. But even with stolen, bloodied shoes, he couldn't go far, and was arrested the very same afternoon.
Yeah, what happened, bro?
It's a long story, but
I mean, I'm here for it.
ain't nothing serious.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You mind just sharing what happened? No?
I'll just take my L like a champ.
Yeah. I've lost a couple fights in my day. It's not fun.
You win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some.
But you still fight another day.
That fight was today? That fight was today?
Yeah, but we boys. That's what men do. Men fight, and they just...
Yeah, it still looks fresh. It's like pretty puffy.
When you made it to that neighbor's house, were you trying to call for help, or like maybe for a ride or some shit? Like
my phone, I don't know what my phone was. I don't have my phone.
Oh, you don't have your phone?
My phone off. So
you ever been in trouble for anything?
I ain't gonna lie. It was 2 years ago. It was basically like they gave me a slap on the wrist, but it was like I always kind of sort of running through cars.
I didn't hear one thing you just said.
Basically like running through cars.
Running through cars?
Yeah, like hitting cars.
Where was that? Was that in Duval or somewhere else?
Handles?
Yeah, I was.
Was that here in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened with it? They drop it. They prosecute. What they did?
Basically, they said I was gonna have to go to the little Zoom call, little court thing. Then next thing they put me in the program.
Okay. Look at me. What happened?
Basically, they said something about. So when I was over there in the spot, there was like something about granddaddy and grandma were gone. I'm like,
who told you that?
Everybody. They had tried to call them.
You got to give me names.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody. They was like basically, they kind of sort of. They was like
on the phone.
Yeah, they answered.
I thought you said you lost your phone.
They got phones. I don't have no phone.
Okay.
They called them. They said call them. Next thing you know, they said they had the route blocked out. That's when everybody went.
Who told you that? Who's gone? Who'd you say is gone?
Granddaddy and grandma.
Granddaddy and grandma?
Yeah.
Okay. Who told you that?
They did at the house at the spot.
They're dead at the house at the spot.
No, I'm saying they had the route blocked off. They called over there. So I guess they probably called the neighbor, and the neighbor probably told them it's not route. So next thing you know,
how would they know they're dead?
They said they had the route blocked off.
So that automatically means someone's dead?
Yes, bro.
No shot.
Yes, it does.
Okay. I mean, maybe that's your opinion. That doesn't always mean that. It could mean there's a fire or whatever.
If there's a fire, you don't know if it's a fire.
True. Yeah, I agree. So when did that happen in the sequence of events? When did that happen?
That happened time we got that news, that's when everything basically went out of fruition. That's when we got in the fight, and next thing you know.
Was that because of, like, did the fight happen because of that?
Yeah.
Okay, explain that.
Basically, it was kind of sort of like everybody ain't know it. Next thing you lose your grandma, you family, your grandpa.
You're sad?
You gonna go crazy, bro. I just lost my
Did they say how they died? Did they overdose? Did they what? I don't know.
By the time you feel me, time
trying to fix this shit, y'all. Shit's annoying. Good looks. Fuck! I'm trying to fix this fucking input. Capture shit.
I got that news. That's when everybody went crazy. Next thing you know, shit, I seen that go up. And next thing I ran out the house.
When's the fight in between that? So the phone call happens and then you get beat up?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I need to know why. This isn't the time to say I don't know. Okay.
What up?
I feel you.
The police officer at the scene told me to never sue the driver who crashed into me after my car accident. I took his
An 18-year-old currently realizing that he will spend the rest of his life behind bars, and as he comes to terms with the fact that his...
I've never seen that in my life.
Trying to get comfortable with him and shit.
Neighbor's house. Were you trying to call for help or like maybe for a ride or some shit? Like
my phone. I don't know where my phone was. I don't have my phone.
Oh, you don't have your phone?
My phone off. So.
You ever been in trouble for anything?
I ain't gonna lie. It was.
Okay, what do you got? Let me see. Where?
We have a secondary victim, female, about 25 years of age, shot in the ribs and possibly the arm. We start at 4655. Huh? I don't.
This is all I got. Chest seals, right?
That's it.
Yeah, hold on real quick.
A peaceful family drive home from a baseball game. 14 bullets fired in seconds. An 11-year-old boy dead. A young woman paralyzed for life. And the most shocking part? The shooters had the wrong truck. This is the true story of how a stolen chain, gang pride, and a deadly case of mistaken identity destroyed innocent lives, and how one of the killers walked into the police station to confess everything.
There was a truck. I was like, you don't even know if that's the right truck. And he just started shooting him. I told those fools no. I don't.
Driver! Open the car door! Let me see your hands!
A criminal, murderous operation.
They hunted him, they stalked him, they found him, they targeted him, and they gunned him down.
And they brought overwhelming firepower easily and rapidly, establishing not fire superiority, but fire supremacy. We will drag this conspiracy out of the darkness of the early morning hours. We will drag it into this courtroom for everyone to see the truth in this case. The truth will be crystal clear.
Yo, Foolio. Julio. Whoa, why they get down on the car like that? They got down on that car crazy. Damn.
What you just watched was a compilation of security footage recovered from the Home 2 Suites Hotel in Tampa, following the gruesome murder of Charles Jones, aka Julio Foolio. When the police arrived shortly after, they quickly located the vehicle Foolio was in, but it was too late. He had sustained multiple gunshot wounds to his legs, chest, and back, and had already succumbed to his injuries. Since the shooters had already fled the scene, the police immediately launched a homicide investigation.
You was getting money. Bulletproof one of your cars, dude. Like, you're getting money. You're not even using the
investigation. When reviewing the security footage leading up to the shooting, a black Chevy Impala entered the west side of the parking lot, parked around the corner from Foolio, and simply sat there. Then, a silver Chevy Cruze entered the parking lot and drove past Foolio's car, before turning around and driving past Foolio again in the opposite direction. They did this twice before exiting the parking lot. The shooters then hopped out of the Impala, bringing us right back to the footage you saw earlier. Following the shooting, the suspects hopped back into the Impala and drove off. After making this discovery,
little bit quicker, bro. You could have got out, bro. Yo, I'd be slipping,
the detectives worked
man. I'd be slipping.
to construct a timeline of Foolio's movements. The timeline began 12 hours earlier, when Foolio posted this story to his Instagram, telling his friends to attend his birthday party at an Airbnb in Tampa. Dozens of people close to Foolio made the 3-hour drive from Jacksonville to Tampa to celebrate with him. The party got a little too wild, and the police shut it down, but the night wasn't over. They continued to a nearby club named Teasers, where Foolio was set to perform as part of his birthday celebrations. The Teasers surveillance camera caught the same Chevy Cruze parking at the back of the lot. 2 people exited the vehicle and walked up to the entrance of the building, but they turned around before getting too close. They then got back into the Chevy Cruze and exited the parking lot. Foolio performed for about 30 minutes, and when he and his friends exited Teasers, the black Impala was outside circling the parking lot. Foolio and his crew then headed to an after party at the Truth 18 nightclub. The black Impala followed close.
Them niggas was holding ground. Them dudes was doing rotations, like, back to back on your eyes. And, like, securing the hard point. Them dudes was like, they wasn't joking, man.
Behind, parking across the street to remain undetected. Foolio kept his millions of Instagram followers updated throughout the night, completely unaware that he was recording his final moments. While he was partying, the 2 suspects from the Chevy Cruze can be seen casually walking around the Truth 18 parking lot. After a long night, Foolio finally decided to wrap things up at around 4 a.m. He left the nightclub, got into the passenger seat of a Dodge Charger, and headed to the hotel. As we already know, the Chevy Cruze and the Impala showed up shortly after. Thankfully, with all of this high-definition footage, the detectives had a clear description of both vehicles, including their license plates. They didn't recognize the person who owned the Chevy Cruze, but they were familiar with the owner of the Impala, a woman named Damali Lyle. Damali's son, Sean Gaithright, was affiliated with a violent group from Jacksonville, known as ATK. ATK had an ongoing feud with Foolio's crew, known as 6 Block, since around 2017. Both of these groups made rap music, so the drama was often fueled by songs that
should be just like, nigga use his mom's car to go do the hit of the ops. Gruesome.
Respected each other's crew. Foolio's songs were known to be especially disrespectful. In one of his music videos, he went to the cemetery where ATK members were buried and danced on their graves. Needless to say, ATK was not a fan of Foolio, so between 2017 and 2024, they tried to kill him several times, but failed every attempt. Now that Foolio was actually dead, Sean Gaithright was suspect number 1. Using a highway security camera system known as Flock, the detectives tracked the black Impala's movements from Jacksonville to Tampa before the murder, but it was never captured going back to Jacksonville. Instead, the Flock cameras captured it in Polk County, just outside of Tampa, where Sean's grandmother just so happened to live.
Come on, little dude. You gotta be smart, man. You gonna take mom's car, go do a hit on the ops, then go to grandma's? Like, come on, dude.
The Impala was spotted in her driveway days later. According to Sean's grandma, Sean had told her that it was difficult to get his photography equipment in and out of the Impala, so he needed a bigger vehicle and asked to borrow her Toyota SUV. While this footage was being reviewed, a tan Toyota SUV was pulled over in Jacksonville for speeding, and Sean was the driver. He was told to step outside so they could seize his grandma's car. After patting him down, they conducted a quick search of the vehicle and hit the jackpot. There were Glock magazines, AR-15 rifle components, empty casings, and 9mm ammunition, all aligning with the ballistic evidence at the crime scene. But before they could charge Sean with murder, the evidence needed to be sent to the crime lab for forensic testing. So he was ultimately free to go, but he didn't escape the attention from the officers for long. The next day, a search warrant was executed on his home, and the detectives found an entire arsenal of more guns and ammo. In the kitchen, the sink was filled with shredded cardboard. When they laid the cardboard out, every single piece was firearm-related packaging. They also found 2 9mm casings that matched the ammunition in the SUV. These were collected and sent into the crime lab to be compared with the casings at the crime scene. During the search, the detectives noticed that Sean had several home security cameras. They obtained the footage from them and discovered that the day before the murder, another ATK member named Isaiah Chance, aka Gadaze, showed up at Sean's house. Sean then stepped outside and started clearing a bunch of photography gear from the trunk of his Impala. After about 8 minutes, Sean and Isaiah can be seen loading several bags into the Impala. These are the same bags that were found in his grandma's SUV when he was pulled over. Sean and Isaiah then left the residence in their respective vehicles. At one point, Isaiah returned momentarily to drop something off, and as he grabbed it from the passenger seat, he is seen holding a Glock and tucking it into his waistband. The next day, after the murder had taken place, an Uber can be seen.
This is the thing. You know people got cameras. You know your house got cameras. Not even, bro. You don't even gotta be too sneaky on your own cameras, but understand this. They're gonna be used for evidence, every little piece. Especially involved in murders. Like, come on, nah.
Dropping off Isaiah and 2 more people at Sean's house. One of these people was Rashad Murphy, aka Ghost, another affiliate of ATK. The other person was Alicia Andrews, who had been dating Isaiah on and off for a few years. The detectives now believed that it was Isaiah and Alicia who were stalking Foolio in the Chevy Cruze before the shooting. But this begs the question, if Isaiah and Alicia were in the Chevy Cruze back in Tampa, where is it now? Well, it wasn't long before the flock system spotted the Chevy Cruze near a hotel all the way in Gwinnett County, Georgia. When an officer pulled into the hotel parking lot, the Chevy Cruze was parking in an empty spot. The officer quickly blocked them in so they couldn't drive away. He then got out of his vehicle and ordered the suspect to put his hands up and stay where he was. But instead of complying with the officer's orders, the suspect booked it. The officer pulled out his taser and chased him down, and once he had a clear shot, he took aim and fired. The suspect fell to the ground and backup arrived to help apprehend him. It was none other than Rashad Murphy. It turns out that the Chevy Cruze was actually owned by Rashad's sister-in-law, who lived out of state, so he likely provided that vehicle for the hit on Foolio and was on his way to return it. He was detained and thrown into the back of a police cruiser while the authorities seized the Chevy Cruze. However, the only consequence that came out of this encounter was a resisting arrest charge, and he was later released as the homicide investigation continued. When detectives looked inside the Chevy Cruze, they discovered Rashad's cell phone. On the device, the detectives found an Airbnb reservation from June 22nd to June 24th. The Airbnb was a 9-minute drive away from the crime scene. The Ring doorbell footage from this Airbnb confirmed that Isaiah, Alicia, Sean, and Rashad were all in Tampa at the time of the murder. The detectives then decided to look into the suspect's phone records, starting with Alicia. This cracked the case wide open. It turns out that she was the one who originally reached out to the person running the Airbnb through Instagram DMs. Also, her location data showed that her phone had been at every location Foolio was on the night of the murder, erasing any doubt that she was following him in the surveillance footage. They also found out that Alicia was sharing her location with Sean at each of the destinations. Other than the locations that they had followed Foolio, they had also gone to a McDonald's in Tampa hours before the murder. In the McDonald's surveillance footage, the Chevy Cruze can be seen at the drive-thru window, and a 5th suspect is in the driver's seat. It was Davion Murphy, Rashad's cousin, another affiliate of ATK. After discovering all of this evidence, the detectives arrested Alicia and brought her into the interrogation room for questioning.
Right, so, we're detectives from Tampa, okay? We do want to talk to you before we start our spiel, okay? I know that you were in a relationship with Isaiah Chance, okay? And I know he's probably already talked to you and, probably tried to tell you what to do or what to say, okay? But I want you to understand, all right? In this moment, all right, God isn't in this room and he can't do anything, to help you in this situation. You have to make that decision for yourself, you know what I mean? I think that you know, there's a lot of stuff that we have to show you that you would probably want to see, and I'm willing to be as open can be to show you everything that we have, you know what I mean? Because I want you to make an informed decision about your life and where it goes from here, okay? Is that your own footage?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us what's going on here?
Wait, no, no.
Okay, where are you at in this video?
I see.
Do you remember what town you were in?
Yeah, too.
Okay. What's going down the candle?
It's all right.
That was it? She said for you yet?
Yeah.
Is this thing on the bottom?
No.
Do you know that? Do you know this kid?
I never met him.
You never met him before.
The detectives knew Alicia was blatantly lying about going to Tampa with just Isaiah and his little brother, Sean. So they showed her the McDonald's drive-thru footage with Davion sitting in the driver's seat.
You remember going to McDonald's while you were in Tampa?
I was hungry.
You were hungry? Okay. So that's you in the car?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was driving the car at that time?
I don't know. I just.
Was it the little brother that you were referring to? No? So you don't know this guy right here that's driving? Just kind of refresh your memory a little bit. I think back to McDonald's. That's the gentleman driving. You never met him before? So how did this gentleman join you guys at some point in the evening?
I didn't know. I just followed him with him.
I don't know, did he come to the Airbnb? Did you guys pick this guy up somewhere?
I'm just on silence. I ain't talking to him.
Alright, sweetie.
You talk to
At the end of the day, okay, if you weren't just on the sidelines, alright?
You in the game,
You need to tell us that, right? You didn't necessarily, Isaiah's leading the activities, he's on the phone, he's telling you where to be, right? You're with him by his side, right? But obviously, something big happened that weekend in Tampa, right?
Despite showing her that they had tracked her every move while in Tampa, Alicia continued to play dumb. So the detectives got serious.
But you were at the hotel where Foolio was murdered at the exact same time that he was murdered. Okay? Are you're familiar with Zay's old friend Tilly that was shot and killed?
The person the detective is referencing is Antonio Tilly, a deceased member of ATK. Back in October of 2023, someone had put up a $20,000 bounty on Tilly. A man named Jaquan Mills took up this offer, shooting and killing both Tilly and his Uber driver on Kylan Drive in Jacksonville. The reason the detective is bringing this up is that Jaquan had a girlfriend named Diamond Harris. Apparently, Tilly thought he was meeting Diamond on Kylan Drive for a date. In reality, Diamond was working with Jaquan to lure him into their trap.
Now, Diamond was not at the scene. All she did was send a few messages on the phone, okay? She's already been convicted 20 plus years. She's not getting out for decades, and she wasn't even at the scene where Tilly got killed. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is damning evidence. This is high definition footage, okay? You're there. You're there.
My name is Julie, and I live in Sheepshead Bay. Last year in 6th grade,
Alicia continued to stare nonchalantly at the detective as he tried to reason with her. But there was something they hadn't brought up yet that they believed would make her break. When they were going through Alicia's text messages, they learned that she was pregnant.
Are you excited about being pregnant?
I lost the lesson.
You like having a baby at some point?
No.
No? The charge on this is first-degree murder. The sentence is going to be life in prison. It becomes your nursing home. You don't have relationships anymore. You don't have a child. If you have a child in prison, it goes to somebody else. And you don't even get to hold your child. The moment my partner and I walk out of this room, your life changes absolutely forever. And you can never, ever change your path. Don't miss this opportunity to save your life.
I know what I know. Y'all tell me I'm lying.
You don't want to live with this, okay? You don't sure shit don't want to live with this in a box the size of this room for 30 years. This is it. Red for 30 years.
No matter what the detectives said, Alicia continued to deny any involvement and acted offended when the detectives said she was lying. Despite the detectives talking big about Alicia being locked up forever, she was free to go for now while they waited for the crime lab results. Those results came in about a month after the shooting in July of 2024. It was determined that the weapons in the Toyota SUV were the same weapons fired at the crime scene, and the 9mm casings found at Sean's house came from the same gun that killed Julio Foolio. On July 27th, 2024, police strategically planned an operation to arrest 3 of their suspects, Sean, Alicia, and Isaiah.
Driver! Open the car door! Let me see your hands! Step on out! Back up to the sound of my voice! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Walk back to me!
That's Sean.
This is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We have a warrant for your arrest.
Put your hands up! Alright, slowly walk toward me! Let's go! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Stop! Stop! Turn around! Keep your hands up, turn around! Don't reach for your waist! Put your hands behind your back!
Tweaking, folks!
Stay there! Don't move!
Looking like a complete goofy, the main goofer. Shorty, the one that's probably behind it mostly.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Now turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
These 3 suspects were transported to Hillsborough County and booked into jail. And at their arraignment hearings, they all pled not guilty. As for Rashad and Davion Murphy, police were unable to locate them, and they were considered fugitives of justice. They were eventually able to track Rashad down to an apartment complex of a woman he was seeing. They had a standoff for an hour, demanding Rashad exit the building, but after throwing tear gas into the apartment, Rashad finally surrendered, with his Bible in his hand and his Yorkie by his side.
He's fine. Crawl towards me. Bro, come on. Keep crawling. Keep crawling. Come on towards me. Let's go.
He and his tiny dog were apprehended, escorted to the back of a cruiser, and taken to the county jail. Rashad also ended up pleading not guilty, and as legal proceedings continued for the suspects in custody, Davion was nowhere to be found. But eventually, in January of 2025, 6 months after Foolio's death, the police kicked down the door of an apartment in Jacksonville and successfully caught Davion, who smiled for the camera following his arrest. Just like everyone else, Davion pled not guilty. All 5 of Foolio's murder suspects were finally in custody and charged with premeditated first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. But the work wasn't over. Authorities continued to gather evidence throughout the legal proceedings in order to build a bulletproof case against each of the defendants. What makes this job easier is that members of ATK are extremely active on social media and have a tendency to brag about the crimes they commit. Just 20 minutes after Foolio was killed, Rashad Murphy posted laughing emojis to his Instagram. Later that day, he also posted a clip of football superstar Tom Brady and his coach Bill Belichick celebrating. This was around the same time that he used Sean's phone to text somebody saying, "I'm coming home, my thirst is quenched. Pop a bottle of Don Julio today." Murphy. Isaiah Chance joined in as well, posting a picture of Bill Belichick with a raising hands emoji. 4 hours after the homicide, another ATK member posted a story saying, "If it ain't no Don Julio, don't pass me no bottle." These are just some of the many posts made by ATK members disrespecting Foolio after his death. But the most flagrant celebration came from the leader of ATK himself, Youngin' Ace. The same day that Foolio died, Ace posted a music video for a song called Do It, which his listeners interpret as a diss track about Foolio's death. He then posted another music video hours later called Game Over. On October 22nd, 2025, the first person to go to trial was Alicia Andrews.
These co-conspirators hatched this murderous plot not minutes, not hours, but days before this, with one common agreed upon goal: death violence, and murder.
The prosecutors were still aiming for a first-degree murder conviction, but the jury also had the option to find her guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Although Alicia wasn't one of the shooters, the prosecutors said that according to the law, as long as she intended for Foolio to be killed and helped in some way to make that happen, she should be found guilty of first-degree murder.
This attack hinged on the element of surprise. And to have that type of surprise, they had to act with a coordinated knowledge, and they needed intelligence. They needed real-time information. Where is he? What's his route? It was that intelligence, that real-time surveillance and communication, the locations and routes that were provided by this defendant and her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance.
To support their claim that Alicia was intentionally stalking Foolio and giving the shooters intel, they took the jury through all of the surveillance footage and digital evidence from her phone. The defense, however, said that none of this evidence proved that Alicia knew Foolio was going to be killed. They claimed that she was just tagging along with Isaiah and didn't ask any questions when all of his friends showed up.
On the weekend, Charles Jones was killed. Alicia Andrews was on a weekend trip with her boyfriend, with only one agenda, to be with her boyfriend. Alicia Andrews is not in a gang. Alicia Andrews is not a part of the drill rap culture.
She may not be a part of it.
Nor the drill rap scene. You would not find...
Look, she may not be a part of it, but she definitely in on it. Because, listen, all girls do that.
DNA, fingerprints, no physical evidence whatsoever linking Alicia Andrews to this case.
They then tried to discredit the lead detective in this case, pointing out his lack of experience as a homicide detective.
We're here because of the perception of the facts of one man, Detective Juan Ramos. But ladies and gentlemen of the jury, perception is not reality. Detective Juan Ramos had only worked homicide for about 4 months when he got this case. His first time as a lead detective on the case, and he lands perhaps one of the biggest homicide cases that the Tampa Police Department has seen in a while. And we're going to talk about Alicia's reality.
The defense then went into Alicia's backstory, saying that she was in beauty school to become an esthetician and working as a substitute teacher on the side when she started dating Isaiah Chance. They claimed that she didn't know he was part of ATK. She just thought he was a rapper and got his stage name Gutta tattooed to her chest to support his music career. But apparently, as their relationship developed, Isaiah became abusive towards Alicia. According to the defense, if Alicia made Isaiah upset, she would face heavy consequences. Everything Alicia did leading up to the murder was due to Isaiah's controlling nature, and Alicia's only agenda was to go along with whatever he wanted to do. This included reaching out to book the Airbnb, walking around outside of the clubs where Foolio was at, and letting Isaiah use her phone throughout the night.
When Isaiah Chance says, give me the phone, it's in her best interest to give him the phone.
Is it though? Is it? Because now she's getting booked and now she's down for it.
Everybody's coordinated, dressed in black, covered from head to toe, all of them except Alicia. No evidence whatsoever suggesting that Alicia Andrews was on some surveillance mission.
During the trial, 35 state witnesses were called to the stand, outlining all of the evidence we've presented to you in this video. Although it was clear that the prosecution had built a strong case against Alicia, the defense was able to successfully plant seeds of doubt into the jurors' minds. For example, when cross-examining lead detective Juan Ramos, they cornered him into admitting that there was no direct evidence that Alicia had any prior knowledge of the murder plan. They also pointed out that Alicia wasn't at Sean Gaithwright's house at the time that the weapons were being loaded into the Impala, and there was no evidence of her having an ongoing relationship with any of the shooters, just her boyfriend Isaiah. Additionally, they highlighted several moments during Alicia's police interview to dismantle the claim that she was deceiving anybody.
Talk about what you want to talk about. Don't want to talk about what you don't want to listen.
And he tells her, talk about what you want to talk about, and you don't have to talk about what you don't want to talk about. Is that correct?
That is what he said.
All right. When you asked Alicia Andrews who her boyfriend was and if it was Gutta, she says yes, right?
Her initial response there, yes, correct.
All right. So she's not trying to hide or pretend like she doesn't know who Gutta is. She answered your question truthfully.
At that moment, yes.
All right. Have you ever seen a text message in her phone where she's talking to Isaiah Chance and she calls him Gutta?
Her phone has the word Gutta in it many times.
Right. But when she's talking to him, does she call him Gutta in any text messages?
I can't recall the specific text message where she sent to him calling him Gutta.
When you asked her who all went down to Tampa with you, she said, I don't know them people. Is that correct?
Something along those lines, yes, that's what I heard.
All right. Murphy.
Not that I found.
Never
Where's
sue the other
attention on
driver
this
after
girl,
a car
bro?
accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court or
Good, I would say. And then he changed over time. I mean, once we got comfortable with each other, he started to be a little more controlling. Like as I got older and I would want to go out, he didn't like that. Like he would tell me what to post, what not to post, or if he didn't want me to take something down or don't wear this, don't wear that.
Did Isaiah Chance ever put his hands on you?
Yes, back in like 2021, we were arguing over the phone. Like he wanted my phone and I wouldn't give it to him. And that was the first time he ever like snatched it and he ended up hitting me.
According to Alicia, Isaiah had even hit her just days before the murder because he got jealous about her talking to one of her guy friends.
He drove me to like a park and he stopped and he was like, let me see your phone. And I said no. But he ended up grabbing it. He was telling me to unlock it and I wouldn't unlock it. And that's when he repeatedly hit me to unlock the phone.
This incident left Alicia with her eyes bruised and her phone screen cracked. This is just one of the several examples the defense showcased of what would happen if Alicia questioned something Isaiah asked her to do. Alicia then gave her perspective of the trip to Tampa. Isaiah suggested that they go to Tampa as a way to make up for hitting her, and his little brother, Sean, would be tagging along. As they picked up more of Isaiah's friends along the way, Alicia didn't question who these people were or why they were picking them up in order to avoid any backlash from Isaiah. Since Isaiah was the only person she knew, she stuck to him the entire trip and let him use her phone whenever he asked. At no point did he mention wanting to kill Julio Foolio or that a plan to kill Foolio was already in motion. She said that she didn't understand a lot of his actions that night, like going to 2 different clubs just to walk away, or speeding through a red light on the way to a random hotel just to leave a few minutes later. And when she heard shots go off in the distance, she had no idea what had happened.
And again, at that point in time, did you know that anyone had been shot?
No.
Even though you heard gunshots, you didn't know that anyone had been actually shot?
No, they could have been shooting in the air or something.
Nah, see, she knows they be shooting. What? She knows they be shooting, so it doesn't matter. You know they be getting down like that, and you talking about they could be shooting in the air. Nah, girl, you know what the fuck the niggas been doing. Trying to get down on what's going. You been hearing shit in the car. You already heard. You already know, girl. Just because you wasn't dressed in all black doesn't mean shit. You should already know. Not to be like them, but fuck it, you just move mad oppy. Like,
Did you know that it had anything to do with Isaiah Chance?
No.
Were you suspicious of anything at that point?
Yes.
Ultimately, it would be up to the jury to decide if they believed Alicia's story or not. But first, both sides presented their closing arguments.
They hunted him, they stalked him, they found him, they targeted him, and they gunned him down. She assisted. She did more than assist.
Of course she did.
She participated as part of that surveillance team, posing as just normal, everyday people just happening to be walking in a parking lot so that her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, would not be detected. She is guilty of first-degree premeditated murder as a principal in this case.
Right, you assess yourself as a opponent to now be involved. You know, you're involved now. It's like you could have just stayed in the car if that was the case. But you know, he had you come outside, and then you was able to then pick up on little shit. At the end, you probably didn't really know what was going on, but you still was there.
And she is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree premeditated murder.
The sword of justice has the ability to save the innocent when used with care and responsibility. When used recklessly, it has the ability to harm the innocent. Alicia Andrews is innocent of every count, every lesser included, every crime that she is on trial for today. Perception is not reality.
After 3 hours of deliberations, the jury came back with a verdict.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1, the defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2, the defendant is not guilty.
The jury concluded that Alicia played a role in Foolio's death, but had no premeditated intent to kill him. Her sentencing was scheduled for December 8th, 2025, but has since been delayed after her defense team ousted Judge Michelle Cisco from presiding over her case. They claimed that she exhibited overt hostility towards the defense, repeatedly interrupting counsel, refusing sidebars, and visibly prompting the prosecution during witness examination. Her body language and tone during defense objections have reflected irritation, impatience, and at times even anger, while her treatment of the prosecution has remained differential and uncritical.
Okay, stop. Is there a question on the table? What's the question?
I'm waiting until, I'm publishing it to the jury, and I'm waiting until it gets to a part that I can ask a question.
Well, can we get to that part and then you ask the question?
Judge, we played this entire interview yesterday for 1 hour and 22 minutes without a question. I'm just trying to get to a particular part. I want the jury to see what's happening now, and then I'm going to ask a question about it.
Great. Can we get to that part?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, well, we're not just going to play it. Can we fast forward to the part? Miss Herrera, stop. Miss Herrera, stop. I didn't ask you to talk.
I didn't know how to talk.
Yeah, you do. You do. Stop, Miss Herrera, you need to stop right now, because you know what? You've been making faces throughout this entire trial. This entire trial, yeah, you have been. Okay. And everything's been caught on video.
I know. And also that the court has caught and noticed all of the gestures and the tone, which was addressed yesterday to this date. But it's fine. No problem. I will do my best to.
Please, do your best. Yeah, and your attitude is very disrespectful. I'll note for the record.
On January 29th, 2026, Judge Kimberly Fernandez was named the new judge on the case. The new date for Alicia's sentencing has yet to be decided. According to online sources, Alicia's co-defendants, Sean Gaithright, Isaiah Chance, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy, are all scheduled to face their own murder trials in April of 2026. Despite many members of ATK claiming their feud with 6 Block is over, the disrespectful music and social media posts haven't stopped, and neither has the violence. There have already been several more murder victims in Jacksonville who are tied to these groups, including the death of Fizzle, another affiliate of ATK, and the death of 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr., a family member of an ATK member.
Duce just loved to have fun. He loved to go outside.
A happy kid that played tag with his cousin Angel.
Duce, I know him since I was even born. Everybody loved you.
Our family is torn. Yeah, we lost a 7-year-old innocent child to senseless guns violence. So we may look all right, but we're not okay. We're gonna fight for justice until we take our last breath, because he did not deserve to die that way. God did not call him home. He was killed senseless.
Unfortunately, that guy was murked, man. I don't know how that guy.
Parents, if your child plays Roblox, listen up.
Look, he hit that. Oh, there's a baby in the car, man.
What the hell?
They shot it up. This is like, yeah. Who did? Hey, love fucking count shit, so. I mean, he did. He did.
The cell phone footage starts shaky. Someone driving home from work. A regular Wednesday, 1:25 in the afternoon. Then the frame steadies. 3 figures, dark clothes, masks, walking, not running, toward a white Chevy sedan parked near a stop sign on the 7900 block of South May Street, Auburn Gresham, Chicago. They raise long guns, and for the next 9 seconds, the audio is something you feel in your chest, round after round after round, over 50 of them, into a car where a 13-month-old girl is strapped into her car seat in the back, holding a lollipop. When the gunfire stops, there's a gap, maybe 2 seconds. The shooters turn. They jog back toward a red Alfa Romeo idling nearby, but they don't leave. The Alfa Romeo pulls forward, lines up in front of the sedan, and they fire again, more rounds, into a car that's already destroyed, into a car where a mother is already dying. Then they're gone. The baby is crying. The lollipop is still in her hand. Shell casings are sitting inside her car seat. She doesn't have a scratch. Her mother, Gabrielle Ayers, 26 years old, is slumped. She doesn't have a scratch. Her mother, Gabrielle Ayers, 26 years old, is slumped in the passenger seat with bullets through her body. That footage went viral in hours. This is the file on what happened before and after those 9 seconds, and what investigators found when they started pulling threads. Gabrielle Ayers was last seen alive at approximately 1:24 p.m. on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, South May Street, Auburn Gresham neighborhood, Chicago, Illinois, sitting in the passenger seat of a white Chevy sedan. Her boyfriend, 27-year-old Devin Draper, known online as Rico Suave, was driving. Their 13-month-old daughter was buckled into a rear-facing car seat behind them. 1 block from St. Sabina Church, middle of the day, food pantry volunteers were working the corner, families were home, kids were around. 60 seconds later, Gabby, that's what everyone called her, was bleeding out in the front seat of a car. Everybody watching that footage asks the same thing. Who are the 3 men in masks? Wrong question. The right question is shorter and uglier. How did they know where to find that car? Because 3 men don't step out of a vehicle with long guns in coordinated positions at 1:25 in the afternoon on a residential street unless they already know exactly where their target is sitting. This wasn't a patrol. This wasn't a hunt. They drove straight to the spot. According to unconfirmed reports circulating online, Devin Draper may have posted his location on social media shortly before the shooting. Think about that for a second. If that's true, and investigators are reportedly looking into it, then the killers didn't search. They scrolled. A tagged location, a pinned post, a digital breadcrumb that turned a Wednesday afternoon into an ambush. But here's where it gets messier, because the question after how did they find him is who wanted to find him? And the answer to that lives in a social media trail that goes back over a year. We'll get to that. First, the woman they killed. Gabrielle Ayers, 26, hairstylist, ran her own salon on the South Side. Clients said she made them feel good. Neighbors said she was sweet. Her godfather, Kirk Bell, said she loved that baby more than anything on earth. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't running anything. She was cutting hair during the day and training to become a letter carrier, postal service, government benefits, steady paycheck. That was the plan. Stability, a future for her kid. In December 2024, she had her daughter. From that point on, every post, every photo, every decision pointed in one direction, that little girl. December 20th, 2025, Gabby threw her daughter a first birthday party, posted about it, called her the prettiest girl in the world. 46 days later, Gabby was bleeding out in the front seat of a car, and that baby was sitting 3 feet behind her, covered in shell casings. Before we go deeper into the evidence trail, I want to know where you stand. Based on what you've heard so far, type inside if you think the threat came from within Gabby's personal circle. Type outside if you think she was caught in someone else's war. Drop it below. We'll revisit this at the end.
Let's slow this down, because the details matter more than the volume. The vehicle. The shooters arrived in a red Alfa Romeo. Not a Honda, not a rental sedan, an Alfa Romeo. That's specific, that's identifiable. And investigators have it on camera pulling up and pulling away. Either these men didn't care about being tracked, or they were confident nobody would talk. Both options tell you something. The approach. 3 men exit. They don't rush. They walk to the white sedan and take positions around it. Multiple angles. This is geometry, not chaos. They knew what they were doing. The first volley. Long guns, not handguns. The witnesses who heard it from blocks away described it as continuous, like firecrackers that wouldn't stop. Over 50 rounds based on the shell casings and evidence markers Chicago PD later documented at the scene. The sedan lurched forward from the impact and crashed into a parked GMC van. The van driver, just some person sitting in their car, climbed out unhurt and refused medical treatment. Wrong place, nothing else. The second pass. This is the part that separates this from everything else. After the initial barrage, the 3 men ran back to the Alfa Romeo. It pulled forward, positioned itself in front of the wrecked sedan, and they fired more rounds into the car. That's not a shooting, that's a confirmation. They came back to make sure. The baby, 13 months old, rear facing, car seat intact. 50+ rounds went through that vehicle from multiple directions, glass blown out on every side, metal frame shredded. Shell casings were recovered from inside her car seat, inside it, resting against the fabric next to her body. She was holding a lollipop when a witness pulled her out, crying, alive, 0 injuries. Devin Draper, Rico, took 2 rounds, 1 in the arm, 1 in the buttocks. He was conscious when paramedics arrived, taken to Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, listed in good condition, expected to recover. Investigators believe Rico was the intended target. But here's the thing about 50 rounds fired into a car from 3 angles. You don't get to choose who they hit. Gabby wasn't the target. She caught the worst of it anyway. The baby wasn't the target either. She caught nothing. The math on that doesn't make sense. The physics of it doesn't add up. And yet, after the shooting, people did what people do. They went to social media. They dug. And what they found didn't solve the case. But it painted a picture that investigators can't ignore. Let's walk the timeline. February 14th, 2025. Almost exactly 1 year before the shooting, Rico posted about texting Gabby to FaceTime him with their daughter. He said she took 3 hours to respond. When she finally called, he claimed she was getting messed up. His post escalated. He wrote that if anyone even played like that, he was going to put 300 rounds all across them and her. 300 rounds, his words, about the mother of his child. Gabby responded in the comments, "You take me down, you know I'm coming back." Someone tagged Rico and wrote, "We fin end her." Rico replied, "She thinks it's a game. Then, she's counting her days. She will not get a second chance to do this." Read that one more time. She will not get a second chance. That was February 2025. November 21st, 2025, Gabby posted that she was going to share a photo of someone's deceased brother in a casket. The comments exploded. A woman warned that Rico and someone else were going to handle it. Someone asked if Gabby's people were getting dragged out of a car going on a mission. Gabby's response, "My brother got left on a hit." That same day, she posted she didn't care about people sharing her address because she was moving. She was trying to leave. December 27th, 2025, Rico posted, "Long live 3 Ski. Consequences happen every time your name is mentioned." a memorial post, but the word consequences does heavy lifting in that sentence. February 3rd, 2026, one day before the shooting, Rico posted, "You cowards, free Marley, free Demon." Confrontational, public, pointed at specific people. February 3rd, 2026, same day, Gabby made her last post, a repost. It read, "I stay humble because I've seen people laugh at somebody, then turn around and become the same thing they joked about." That was the last thing Gabrielle Ayers ever shared with the world. February 4th, 2026, 1:25 p.m., 50 rounds, 3 shooters, 1 dead mother. February 4th, 2026, 5:58 p.m., 4.5 hours after Gabby bled out in the front seat, Rico posted, "Don't put me last knowing I'd be the first one to risk it all for you." The detective saw that post. Everybody saw that post. Was that grief? Was that defiance? Was that a message to the people who just tried to kill him? I'm still here. I'm still dangerous. Or was it something else entirely? Shortly after the shooting, someone else posted, "They just tried to end my cousin. God got him though. Rico Suave, love you still here." Rico survived. Gabby didn't. And people online started asking the uncomfortable question that the investigation hasn't answered yet. How did Rico walk away from 50 rounds with 2 wounds while sitting in the driver's seat, the most exposed position in the vehicle? This is the part that's burning up comment sections across every platform covering this case. It's not just the shooting, it's what came before and after. The 300 rounds post, a man threatening the mother of his child publicly a year before she's killed by gunfire. The comments under it, "We fin end her," treated like banter, like it was nothing, like words don't become receipts. Rico's post 4 hours after the murder, not grief, not shock, a cryptic flex that reads like a man reminding people he's still in the game. And the confrontational post the day before, "You cowards," aimed at unnamed people, uploaded publicly while his girlfriend and their baby were apparently still in his orbit, still riding in his car, still sitting in the blast radius of whatever war he was broadcasting on social media. People are furious, not just about the shooters, about the recklessness, about a man who allegedly knew he was a target and still had his girl and their baby in the passenger seat and the back seat of his car at 1:25 in the afternoon. One commenter put it plain, "Why are you allowing your girl and her baby to get in your car when you know people are looking for you?" The detectives haven't said whether Rico is cooperating. They haven't said what he knows. They haven't said whether the posts matter to the investigation. But the internet isn't waiting for detectives.
This file isn't closed. It's barely open. If you want to follow this case as it develops, new evidence, new arrests, new details from the investigation, this is where we track it. Consider joining the Files series. We open a new one every week. No noise, just the records. When the daylight faded away on a cold evening in the city of Chicago on the 7th of February, 1919, hundreds of people flocked the intersection of 79th and May. They came quietly. Some held candles, some held photos. There were others who had nothing but sadness. The story was told in the corner itself. 3 days after the shooting, evidence markers were still spread over the pavement, little numbered reminders that the bloodshed was not of a dream. It happened here, recently, not too far out of touch. Pamela Bosley stood close to the curb looking at the crowd. She co-founded the organization Purpose Over Pain, an organization that consists of parents who lost their children due to gun violence. This was not her first vigil. It was not her second or 10th. She talked as if she had been taught how to endure intolerable loss and be able to stand on her feet. She reminded the audience that it is not accidental tragedy. These are patterns, predictable, repeating, preventable. She said that these are our children getting killed. Without a change, everyone would be at a picket line at some point. It was not a slogan, it was a warning. Adrienne Swanigan Williams was present also. Her son, Tremaine Henderson, was killed with a gun in 2017. That loss has not been blunted by time. It has merely taught her to coexist along it. She did not refer to Gabby as a headline or victim, but as an individual, sweet, loving, a mother who was trying. One of the hairstylists was constructing something with herself and her child, one who had plans stretching past tomorrow. She clarified that it was not only about death, but stolen futures, about work unfinished, the topic of growing up with memories and no parents. Kirk Bell, the godfather of Gabby, was a few steps away, and he was too tired to talk, and his voice was hoarse with asking the same question many times over. He requested it to all the cameras, all the reporters, all those who bended over and spoke into a microphone. Why will you be shooting at a car when you are sure that there is a child in the car? He did not put it in a rhetorical form. He was seeking reason, explanation, something that could have made sense out of the meaningless. No one answered him, since there is no answer that will not put itself to the ground. City leaders came. Brandon Johnson, mayor, talked of the soul-tearing Chicago. State Senator Willie Preston referred to the shooters as monsters and cowards. The scene was an obvious demonstration of strength and determination when the 6th District Commander of the Chicago Police, Andre Poston, conducted an outdoor roll call at the scene. Blood had been days ago where uniforms were. Radios crackled, cameras rolled. There were words, vigils, waving like candles on the black, carefully written speeches, promises of action, calls for unity. The accustomed scene was reenacted nearly in the same way it has been reenacted so many times before. And when the crowd started to disperse, when the candles lit and people began to go home gradually, one thing did not change. 3 gunmen remained on the loose. The turn at 79th and May quieted down again, without a decision being made on it. The markers of evidence would be ultimately eliminated. The news trucks would leave. The city would pass on to the next emergency. Yet to the families who were there, to the parents who could see themselves in the story of Gabby, this